All right, I have a fun episode of the Tricer podcast. I'm going to start with this story. I was up in Bozeman, Montana 2 years ago, and I was at Stone Glacier, and there was this cocky guy in there talking crap on my tripods, and me and him went back round and round, back and forwards, talking, and I'm trying to convince him. This is like Tricer's first coming out with new stuff, right? We just got the new tripods out, and a lot of stuff wasn't even released yet, and I was with Cody Rich, and we walk out of there, and he goes, "Do you even know who that was?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "That's Adam Foss. He's like the king of sheep hunting." And I'm and I was like, "I don't know who he was, but he needs to use my tripods." And then, long story short, Adam ended up reaching out to me, and I got him a tripod, and we've been talking back and forth for a few years. And turns out Adam is definitely one of the kings of sheep hunting. I was on the phone with Sheep Foundation this morning. They were talking about you. You are synonymous. You and your whole family, I believe, with Canada and sheep. Correct?
For better or for worse. Thank you. Yeah, that's quite the intro. That is true, though. That is a true story. I was talking about so that's a great little segue too, because I was talking about essentially like the bino ring, right?
Yeah.
The clip that goes on the bino attachment that going in and out of a bino harness, and I was sort of like pretty convinced on the nature of having a center, not a center post, but just having it be in the middle for left to right balance of a bino, not a super heavy bino, just like to stabilize it. And you told me, oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually make a big difference. And then so I was just trying the stuff out, and the best thing, the light bulb went off when I'm like, okay, this guy kind of gets it, because even the Arca Swiss footprint of the ring, like it's not a quarter 20 that you screw a plate into. It's actually just like the profile of the Arca profile to slide in. And just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I appreciate gear and equipment that's like stripping everything down to make it as simple as possible. And yeah, there's some, sort of my background being mountain hunting, there's some weight savings, there's some space savings. That's great. Appreciate those things big time. But also just like functionality and simplicity in gear when stuff falls apart or breaks or a little tiny screw backs out, you don't have the right Allen key. Like the less moving parts, the more simple, the easier to use, lower profile. And so, so it comes in and out of the bino harness totally way better than the extra profile of stacking a plate along. So, yeah, I guess shit talking can lead to interesting.
Lead to a relationship, dude. You know what's funny, dude? Because talking about it, when I first started Tricer, our little motto was fast, light, simple. And my partner's like, "You don't want to call it simple," and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Like, for me, like what I want all my gear to be is fast, light, and simple." And that's what and we've kind of stuck true to that with everything we've designed. Is like, well, is it simple, right? Because I don't want complex. I want as simple as possible. Because I just know, like, the more I have going on, it's like we're gonna get into mountain hunting and gear, right? And like why my kit is so simple. Like the more complex things are, like the more things can go wrong. Like I have become like so simple in everything that I do. It just helps out there.
I agree. Yeah, I do agree. And oftentimes you don't have a backup, and oftentimes you're planes, trains, and automobiles away from getting out. And so the times that you get burned on those pieces of gear that fail or fall apart or don't hold up to what you had desired, they burn into your mind, and you're sort of, I'm always probably similar to you or most gearhead type people. I'm like writing a list right after a hunt, usually on the hunt, like what worked, what didn't, what I broke.
Yeah.
And either, broke something that I need to get replaced, or broke something that I need to figure out a way to find a better mousetrap. And that's sort of just constantly running in my mind. And again, yeah, it is to save weight and space, but it's also, I think the more that life moves fast and it gets busy, like when you are out there and you're out of service and you're fortunate enough to be out hunting, it's really nice to not be farting around with your gear and have more complexity. Like it's just really, I find myself more and more thinking, I'm just glad that all the companies that I get to work with and products that I get to use are usually driving a pretty high level of minimalist, simplistic mindset, and utilitarian. And it might not have bells and whistles, and it's like, that's sort of what I want.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the bells and whistles, like don't get used. I always tell people to like get your gear set up for 90% of the time, not 10% of the time. And I feel like too many
Mm-hmm.
people focus on the 10% of the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, what if this happens? Well, it's probably not going to happen. So like, we'll just focus on this 90%. I'm very similar. Like we just went to Alaska and it ended up raining for I think 5 days straight, about an inch and a half to 2 inches a day. And I had a list in my phone before I even flew back out. Like, this is what I have to change next time. You have to remember this stuff because this was not good.
So what was it?
Oh, there was multiple things. One, I let Brad Hunt talk me into going floorless and not bringing my Hilleberg. I would never again go to Alaska without one of my Hillebergs. I will bring a big floorless tent for like sitting in, like as a group, but I
Mm-hmm.
will never again. We were in 4 inches of water. Like it was, if I didn't bring one of those Helinox cots, it would have been horrific. I probably would have brought a second set of rain gear because we were soaking through, even though I was wearing like the best, like Kuyu's thickest rain gear. I mean, we were soaking through in the rain gear because it was just so wet. We definitely brought tall. I brought tall boots. A lot of guys didn't bring tall boots. There's like quite a few things. Oh, fire starters, like actual fire starter logs, because like trying to get
Mm.
the stove started, everything was so wet that you could not. We were going through like using the vac, the little pumps for pumping up your air mattresses we all carry now.
Yes.
Using one of
Yep.
those with like all of our little fire starters. I make my own kind of like um, cotton ball type deals, and just having to like going through like six of them to get a fire started, right? So I definitely bring some like fire logs. We would do our meat differently. I would build a structure for my meat, like a TP structure for my meat, because that got wet and got sour. I had to turn all my meat into jerky. We had a bunch of wins and a bunch of losses on it, but it's a learning experience, right? Like, I mean, and I went with experienced dudes. Like, I mean, guys, Brad's been to Alaska 8 times and we still made mistakes, you know?
Yeah. The tent one is a really interesting one, and sort of anecdotally, I mean, I kind of, for better or for worse, and get sort of brushed with a uh, brushstroke of I'm the gear guy, or I'm way into gear. I get to work with a bunch of different gear companies, do gear product testing and things of that nature. So people ask me a lot of questions,
Mm-hmm.
and tents. I would say tents, boots, and backpacks are three of the biggest. What are you using? What should I use for this hunt? Or A versus B. You know, and those are, especially the tents is an interesting one because I personally, um, it's a lesson that I learn, and it's about once every 10 hunts. It's like not every hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like you're hunting in Montana or Colorado in September, and it's like our memories are so short in that you had a great hunt, the weather was great, you're running a TP tent or you're sleeping under a tarp or a bivy sack or whatever. And then it's like one every 5 hunts, one every 10 hunts, you get completely whacked, and the pound and a half extra for your nice whatever Nalo or Namech or Alec 3 big bomber 4 season tents.
Mm-hmm.
It's saving your hunt. Like it's like making your hunt more comfortable, safer, but it's actually saving your hunt, because you can keep out there. And so that's one that's just, you can get away with it a lot of the times, and the 1 out of 10 times that you don't, you're kicking yourself. So
So let's
yeah.
talk tents because we could talk gear, we could talk sheep as well. But I love talking gear. Um, I'm a tent freak. I have so many different tents, and I love my Enyon 2. I have a Namaj 3, which is a 4 season, and I just called up John up at Hilleberg. He just sent me out an Enon this week. And
Yeah.
I didn't go with the was it the Alec, the bigger brother, the 4 season. I went with the 3 season Enon. I feel like that should cover most of what I do, even in Alaska. Because I'm not really going anywhere extreme. Are you staying
Yeah.
away from the 3 seasons where you are? Are you staying all 4 season because you're just up there and
No, I like to push it, and I like to get some weight out of it. Just like early on, if I look at the weather, I'll try and run a 3 season, or like there, for Hilleberg specifically, it's a color system, so the yellow label is basically their 3 season.
Mhm,
But yeah, I mean the Enon, that tent is so we're talking about the Enon is a 3 season, 1 person tent. I think it's like 36 ounces, so
mhm.
it's basically just over 2 pounds. That tent is badass.
It's bad at the bone. That's why I got it.
I
Yeah.
I ran that thing November up on the Beartooth Plateau in the Limiteds. I ran that. I was just up hunting sheep here into early October in northern BC. the thing about that tent is that it's small. I'm a small guy too, and so all this stuff comes with a caveat of like, this is my personal experience based on my own choices, also based on my body size for something like a tent. The ENET is unbelievable, and I think as I kind of use these tents more and more, what I find is sometimes you don't actually want a big tent because you're creating this bigger profile that's going to be whacked more by the wind. It's going to carry more snow load. And that, just because it is so small, it's basically a coffin with a hoop pole. And if you pitch it, if you orient it the right way, like, so basically almost think of it as like a boat or something,
Mm-hmm.
a canoe in water going through current, or, upstream or downstream, whichever. If you orient it the right way, the wind is just wrapping right around that thing. And it is unbelievable. And they wouldn't say and recommend that you bring it in anything into like a late season winter hunting or camping situation, but I have. And it's a sweet tent. I love that thing.
I've had my Anion, which is like a similar tent, hoop style tent, the 2 person. I've had that out in like 55-mile-per-hour winds and totally fine. Where my buddy who is in my teepee, nightmare. I mean, thunderstorm, teepee stakes are out of the ground. They're out getting just wrapped, and I'm just in my tent just laughing, right? Even though
Yeah.
he's using, so my son and him are out there just getting just whacked by freaking rain. It's just coming hard, and I'm in that Enion and just like, yes, it's loud, but it just handles it. And I'm really excited to get the Enon because I just wanted something a little bit smaller, just a
Yeah.
little better footprint for me. I do love the floorless tents. It's just they have a time and a place, and for me, I just feel like I can never go wrong. And honestly, their 4 season tents are made for going to like Antarctica. I think guys like you, I think Schneider pushes the yellow label as well. I know Petra would want people to hear that. But like, I mean, for what we do in the, lower 48 type hunting, there's not many situations where that Enon is not going to be okay. You might get a little drafty, but it's that 3 seasons pretty hardcore compared to what's out there, right? Like, I mean, compared to buying like a freaking big Agnes Tiger Wall or something, you know what I mean? It's just 10 times the tent.
Yeah. And everything comes with a little bit of experience and a little bit of common sense too, right? So if you're looking at and now we have like the power of technology. So
Mhm.
we have like incredible ability to predict the weather. So I was just up on a trip with my wife, um, Northwest BC, wicked weather. We got totally just got stomped by Mother Nature. But we're sitting there in the tent pulling weather from InReach, and like the accuracy of that weather is like pretty remarkable. So it doesn't help change the weather because the weather is what the weather is. But if you're looking into the future, if you're looking 2 days or less into the future using InReach weather, it's pretty accurate. So if you're seeing here comes a storm, here comes high winds, here comes a lot of preset, then you're sort of planning your hunt plan appropriately. And if you're in that ENAN and you're pushing into late September, maybe even October, and you know you're pushing it, and you check the weather's coming, you wouldn't pitch it up on top of a ridge or in the most
Yeah.
exposed spot. You just use a little bit of common sense. Say, hey, I'm going to just tuck into the timber, sit this one out for 2 days, and then I'll be back hunting. So yeah, a little bit of common sense goes a long way too. And I think that's something that you can't necessarily always learn on the internet. You can't necessarily learn from watching YouTube videos. You got to use a little bit of common sense, and you got to learn from a little bit of experience too.
Are you running the footprint under yours? I actually ordered a footprint and I haven't used it before on any of my Hillebergs. And I was kind of worried with it being the yellow label, like ripping it on some of the rockier stuff. You're not running the footprint on yours? You don't have any
I
problems?
don't. I don't. Just like one more thing to kind of worry about. I
It
don't think I'd
attaches to
ever.
the tent. You can like attach it to it. That's why I was like, it's
Yeah.
9 ounces. Like versus getting the Acto, which is a little bit heavier. So it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna run it or not. We'll see.
And that's in for the vestibule or actually the whole length of the tent?
It goes underneath the
The
vestibule, the whole
vestibule.
tent. So it goes the whole tent. So like underneath your sleeping quarter into the vestibule, it's
Yeah.
9 ounces, and it like I don't know, bungees on or something. And I'm like, it just I don't know. We'll see. I was gonna put some Tyvek under. I just don't want to rip it. Like I've had a few times, like even with some of the pads going through, like some of those tents, like just popping a
Yeah.
pad going through on a rock underneath you. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't use
It's
them.
an
I just
investment. Yeah.
totally. Yeah. If you're in that type of rain, maybe it's not a bad little assurance policy too.
Yeah, I just so that was kind of one of my big fails, right? Is I wanted to use a we brought a floorless, which is nice to have the stove. But what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to bring my non-lodge because I just know my non-lodge is just going to be safe. Like we had unreal. We didn't see the sun for 5 days straight. It just rained. It never stopped
Yeah.
raining, and
Yeah.
it was literally we were the only dry portion that you could have been in. And by dry, it was still 4 inches of like swamp underneath us, and like up to our cots. Like if I was my non-lodge, that big bathtub in it. it'll be fine. Plus, we're flying in. Why not? And then bring like a bigger, like maybe like an 8-man teepee for chilling in with the stove, so you can sit in there. Because we did like a tarp. Like one thing that we got lucky with is the guy told us like, "Hey, buy some blue tarps." Like what? He's like, "Dude, trust me." So we bought like 3 blue tarps, and that saved our butt because we made our own like little shelter with a tarp to sit under. But it's still the wind and storm. Like you're still getting wet the whole day because it's blowing in sideways and getting you.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my shelter.
100%.
That's my shelter stuff. So that's cool to hear you using Hillbrook. It does seem like any hardcore sheep guy or like Alaska guy, BC guy is going to be in the Hillbrooks.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also like a stylistic thing on how you hunt. So I think, I've maybe spent a dozen or 15 nights in a teepee tent, and half of those would be on a horse hunt. So you're on flat ground. You're never camping way up high. You got to be next to grass and water for the horses. So it makes sense. I'm not a horseback hunter. I maybe do one every 5 or 7 years, and that takes the exact amount of time it takes me to forget that I don't like hunting on horses. So I can go do another one after 5 or 7 years. And then, so it's sort of one of those things where I want to camp. I'd only limited where I camp based on the kind of tent that I have.
Yeah.
So if you're hunting, generally speaking, you're hunting sheep or something in the mountains, like you're trying to hunt, above timberline, or, you might have camp on your back, you're going to the end of something, and you can just camp wherever you need to camp, and you're not limited. And so, specifically like archery sheep hunting, oftentimes what you're trying to do is like, if you do find a ram, you're trying to hunt it like very generally speaking, it's just like any mountain animal, sort of like put it to bed in the morning, wait for the thermals to get strong, come around, hunt it from the top, slip down on it, try and kill it. And so if you're in the bottom, at least from like the sort of the way that we've developed our style to hunt, or just generally speaking, is like if you're hunting from the bottom in a teepee tent, or in just for whatever reason you're hunting from the bottom and you're looking up all the time, no matter what, you are always going to have to climb up, go around, drop down on it. So you're always like a day away, or like a solid half day away, as opposed to if you're hunting a ridge or something like that and you see something, you're kind of right on top of it. Now, of course, like the reverse of that is generally there's no water up there. So you have to like carry, 5, 10, 15 liters of water from the bottom, which mentally like sucks, right? Because you're carrying 22 pounds of water, your buddy has 22 pounds, and you have another 60 or 65 pounds of stuff on top of that. So roundabout way of saying, a teepee tent, or a tent that can only be pitched on big flat spaces, is going to limit where you hunt and how you hunt. And so for species that I've grown up hunting and like to hunt, I just prefer to have something a little bit lower profile, because it's going to allow us to camp wherever we need to.
Yeah, so that's what people don't understand about teepees. While yes, you have a lot of space, they take up a lot of space. I mean, like the smallest teepees, even like my one man's like 8 foot by 8 foot. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to find a flat spot like that, especially when you're hunting mountain. Like I mean, I have no experience hunting sheep, right? But I have like scouted goats. It's been up 12, 13,000 feet hunting deer. It's very hard to find a flat spot big enough for a teepee, right? Unless you hike down to the bottom and get to one of these meadows or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So cool. We beat the shelter to death. Let's talk about boots. Let's talk about boots. I hope you go where I think you're going to go. But let's see, what kind of boots are you running up there?
I basically run Las Sportivas in a few different styles, which is like a more of a mountaineering style boot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think boots are really tough because they're so personal. They're personal to your fit, style of hunting, things that you like, things that you don't like. But I've kind of tried pretty much everything, and I sort of keep falling back to the lightweight, stiff, higher performing mountaineering style boot, as opposed to like more classic like leather boot, like a Schnees or a Kennetrek or something like that. And that's for a few different reasons. Like I said, a little bit higher performing. They're quite a bit lighter, and probably the biggest thing is just like the profile of the toe and the way that like you can put your foot into like spots, and you have purchase, and you need about a little 4-inch ledge, and I just feel a little bit more solid in them. That's not to say the downside is they're not super durable, although I don't know of a boot that is super durable. And they're not as waterproof for sure. Like a leather boot is quite a bit more waterproof. So if it is like a really wet hunt, or I don't know, I'm going on a back-to-back hunt or something like that, and I want to have dry feet, I'll throw in a pair of leathers, and I might throw in like a pair of crispy Brickstall, like the long, tall ones, or something like that. But yeah, so like the Equilibrium from La Sportiva has got a lot of use. The Equilibrium Top, which has a built-in gator, has got a lot of use this year. And then as you get later into the season, you run like some different late season ones, some double boots too. Like Spantic has a double boot. The G5, I think, is the one that I have right now. It's a double boot. Yeah, so then you're getting into like pulling the liner boots out, drying them out while you're hunting in your sleeping bag, kind of getting a fresh set of boots in the morning. And then too, like I'll bring on those like mid to late season hunts, bring those boots like right inside, put them in your sleeping bag, so you don't have to deal with frozen boots every single morning. But yeah, that's my personal choice. I don't know. I beat the. I mean, they don't last very long. I got a box full of boots that just get destroyed, and
Destroyed.
sometimes they get resold or sent back and warranted. But yeah, how about yourself?
Kenetrex. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
where I've settled because I just have like a weird foot. And I have to break my feet, even though my Kenetrex, I break my feet in every year because like I blister. Like I have to break my. I'm not blistering right now because I've spent so many times in my so many days in my boots this fall. But
yeah,
and I like a stiffer boot. I like the hard. I run the hard scrabbles a lot. I like the mountain extremes. Similar to what you're saying, just for like, especially if we're going somewhere where it's going to be steeper, like having that purchase where you can just tick your toe in and you're only in 3 inches, but you're still your foot's off the hill, but your toes are on the hill. You can still hike. I like that. The Los Pertitas
yeah,
are probably the boot I want to try the most because a lot of guys are getting really into them. A lot of my friends run them. A lot of my friends are mountaineers, and they love that boot. They
yeah.
really do love
They're
that boot.
narrow.
What's that?
They're narrow.
Yeah.
They're
And
narrow
they
fitting.
are. And that's why I think I might have a problem with them. And that's where I run into
Yeah,
problem. I get blisters on the sides of my feet, and just the Kinetracks just fit my feet right. It's one of those
yeah,
things where like you can't. I don't want to knock influencers, right? I love influencers. When it comes to boots, honestly, boots and backpacks, like you really have to find the one that fits your body right. Um, 'Cause I've tried like a bunch of them, and just have the one that I've loved the most is the Kinetrix, and I wear them
yeah,
those two boots all the time. If I want to, like when I'm on my like fourth season elk hunt in December this year, it'll be probably the Mountain Extremes, right? Because they're like 400-gram insulated boots. Most of the time I don't run an insulated boot; my feet sweat. But when those 400s on, and I love them. Honestly, I do like how tall the Mountain Extremes are on my. I don't get any heel lifts at all on the extremes, so I kind of want to switch over to extremes for everything, like even on insulated, but it's just a lot of boot is the problem. It's heavy.
yeah,
I wear a lot like locally, like all my predator hunting and a lot of my local deer stuff, or even like Arizona stuff. I just run the freaking like trail runner shoes. I can't think of the name of those shoes, but whatever. I run trail runners a lot if I can. If I can get away
yeah,
with it, I will because it is my feet. I just want something like that. But in the mountains, kind of treks.
yeah. It's I think I said it earlier in the podcast. Boots, backpacks, and tents are three of the most just personal choices, opinionated, fit to a body type, fit to a hunting style, fit to a personal preference, and yeah, I don't have like a definitive like this is the best, this is the best boot, this is the best backpack, this is even the best tent. Although I feel pretty strongly that Hillbrook
Tents
makes
are
really
pretty strong.
really good tents.
I can be pretty definitive on tents. Tents, I can be pretty much like, hey, this is a good choice here. Like I definitely think like if you're gonna go to let's say you're going to Colorado for a high country mule deer hunt,
Mm-hmm.
don't bring a Tiger Wall Big Agnes tent. Like I just don't like you're going to probably end up in a storm and you're going to be miserable. Like yes, it's a lightweight tent. It's phenomenal for going hiking Yellowstone or Yosemite. But if you're going up in the mountains, like bring something that's going to be stronger. Like I love even like some of the tarp tents, but I like using like the Cafaro Super Tarp. It just goes all the way to the ground. It has all kinds of guy outs, all kinds of stake points where I know I'm going to make it through a storm. Where if I'm in one of those Tiger Walls, like I'm going to get wet, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that the little addition to the best fill in the blank is the best for me, or the
Yes.
best for me on this hunt, or the best for
Yes.
the weather, the hunt, the style, all those sort of things come into place.
Have
There's
you
no like one size fits all.
have you tried the Graxol boot dryers?
I have not. Is that like a little
They're sweet.
USB?
They're
Are
super
they?
sweet. Yeah, so you can put them in. Like I've never used them until I went with Brad to Alaska, and you literally just put them in your boots and turn them on, and they
Mm-hmm.
use like no dark energy. Put your anchor or dark energy on there. Uses barely any power at all. Run it all night. Your boots will be dry. it'll take all the. They're super light too. I think that they have new ones that just came out. And I mean they're like maybe 12 ounces, 8 ounces, something like that. And it's just two of
Yeah.
them, and they're like look like hockey pucks, which you should know what those are from Canada, right? Just freaking drop those hockey pucks in the top of your boot, dude. Turn them on, and they run all night, and they dry your boots. So someone like you would probably really benefit from those things.
Cool. I'll have to check them out.
You do? Are you doing darn tough socks? I'm curious.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm wearing a pair right now. Yeah, Sitka came out with some socks. I was trying those out this year. They seem pretty good. I think darn tough smart wool. The Sitka ones seem great. I think they're pretty interchangeable. I think the sort of I don't know if I've advanced anywhere in socks. It'd be that you don't actually, we used to use big, cushy, thick socks, like thinking that they're more comfort, they're more support, but it turns out they just sort of make your feet sweat, and you have more opportunity to have some bunching or some wrinkles or something like that. So I actually like not like a really heavy sock, just like a midweight, very midweight sock. And then, this time of year, probably like right about now in mid-October, going into some more mid to late season hunting, I'll run usually it's a silk or sometimes a synthetic liner sock. So run like a really thin liner sock with like a kind of a medium, just a normal medium hiking sock. And that allows you to push moisture from the liner sock out, helps with blisters a little bit, gives you just like a tiny little bit of warmth. And then some like customization with the fit. So you can work on like a different combination of liner versus outer sock. And I'll use like a pair of super feet, like the blue ones, which is just like an insole that has like a bit more stability. And I've got into those from like my trail running shoes. I was wearing them in my running shoes. So I was like, well, they seem to be doing the trick. So I'm going to put them in my hunting boots, and just dialing in like that fit and that, yeah, I think maybe that's like, that's just like, I guess like a lesson that I've learned over the years is that the things that are going to let you down, I guess we're hammering on it pretty hard, but your boots and your pack are going to let you down if you don't have them fit to your body. Like you said, if you are a person who gets blisters, you want to be wearing your boots well before you have a hunt. So you can break your feet in, you can break the boot in, you can try out different sock combinations, you can try your pack out with 40, 50, 60 pounds for training, but also just like the fit and sort of the peace of mind of like, I have used this piece of gear. I'm looking out my window right now. I have a little 900-foot mountain right here that I can walk or run from. I carry my kid in my backpack. I can go with my wife. I can go with friends. I can go, and it's like, I'm going to be using the frame that I'm using for hunting most likely, and the boots that I'm going to be using for hunting. And I'm going to be doing that as often as I can, usually a couple of times a week.
Yeah, man, for sure. I agree with that 100%. I love the Darn Tough socks. I've done everyone else's socks, right? I've done First Light socks, Kuyu socks. I've tried them all, and I just always go back to the Darn Tough socks. And I actually
Yeah.
pretty much what I do is try and buy like a pair every couple of months because they're $30. Like they're not cheap to buy. It's like there's something about buying $30 pair of socks. You're like, oh, um, but I probably have 8 pairs of them now, right? And I love them. I've tried the liners. I just can't get on board with it. I don't know. Like they probably would help me, but I don't know. I should try it again. I feel like I always end up losing the liners, and I don't know. I never do it. I've tried the liners before though a few times and done that.
Usually,
But
like what you want to, when I start using them is when you have big swings in temperature. So it's like, you're in the mid late season, you're hunting. It's like you're going to hike up something for 4 hours. There's no way your feet aren't going to sweat.
yeah,
It's 30, 35 degrees. You're basically like full octane, pretty high output. And then you get to the top of the mountain and you're sitting there glassing for 4 hours or, as long as you can. And the first thing that's going to get cold is your feet. And the reason your feet are going to get cold faster than they're not is because they're wet. So that like liner sock helps wick moisture away and keeps your feet a little bit warmer. There's a couple things you can do too. You can get to the top and loosen your boots. You can put a sitting pad underneath your feet, like a Z-Light, Z-Rest, like anything you can do to keep your feet just like a tiny bit warmer. And actually like insulation, like a 400-gram insulating boot will help to some extent, but actually like in some ways with mountain hunting, because you're going to hike 4 hours and then you're going to sit, it's going to make your feet sweat quite a bit. So you want a way, that's where I see that piece of gear like playing is managing moisture to keep your feet warm. Because like what is it? Heat escapes your body like 21% or 21 times faster if you have moisture on your skin or something like that than if you don't.
Mm.
And that's what we're doing. The reverse of that, when we're sweating, that's how you cool yourself, right? Like the evaporation of the water off your body's skin is going to cool you. So by having water on your feet, like your feet are just, they're going to be cold. They're going to be ice blocks. And then you're done. You're done glassing for that moment. So you have to keep moving around.
So what I'll do a lot of times, I have sweaty feet, is I'll just switch my socks out. Like right, I'll
Yeah,
get to where
that's
I'm
a good move.
going, switch my sock, like take them out, let those other ones dry out. All I've just tie into my backpack, let them hang outside for the rest of the day, as long as it's not raining, and then I'll put new socks on. And then that way I'm doing that
Yeah.
because my feet sweat a lot, and I recognize that if my feet get wet, I'm gonna start blistering. So I'm like, I just switch socks out. I might do it once a day, and sometimes I'll even take my boots off, let my feet dry out, and then put socks back on. Right, whatever I gotta do.
Yeah.
Curious, are you a big puffy pants guy?
Yeah. For into September. Yeah. Yeah. I am. And I think of them as, for two big reasons. One, it's like, I think people think of clothing as like, well, it lets me be more comfortable and enjoy the hunt a bit more, and it certainly does. There's also a case in my mind to be made from what I've seen is like certain clothing items and used in a certain specific way is going to actually like increase your opportunity for hunting, which is like exactly why we're out there. And a pair like I think like a pair of puffy pants, what it does is like for me, it gets you in the mindset of I'm going to sit here and glass. So if you stop, take the time, put puffy pants on, puffy jacket, set your tripod up, throw your awesome Arca Swiss low profile, slide that thing right into a tiny little pan head. If you've taken all that time, found a spot out of the wind, like you're gonna sit there for a longer period of time. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've gone into like glassing mode. And puffy pants, among other things, just like help you kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing they do is like they give you a sleeping bag. Like if you want to run a lighter sleeping bag, like if you're on the fence between 32-degree bag or a 20-degree bag or a 20-degree bag or a 5-degree bag, you can choose the what would be the lighter weight bag, the cooler, the lower, the higher temperature bag, to save some weight, knowing you have a puffy pant and a puffy jacket and maybe even down boots if you're running little down booties. That's going to allow you to bump up your sleeping bag. So like instead of having to use my 0-degree bag when I'm on the fence, I'm factoring in, okay, well, I'm going to bring puffy pants and a jacket, so I can actually save 7 or 8 ounces out of my sleeping bag by bringing my lighter sleeping bag, and those pants might weigh 8 or 9 ounces. So I'm like at a net, I'm at a net equilibrium. It's the same, but I get a piece of gear that functionality, like functionally, I can use, half the time hunting because I'm glassing maybe half the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I think about them.
Are you a bag guy or a quilt guy?
I am not a fucking quilt guy.
What? I am a quilt. I can't do a bag. I cannot do a bag. I've been a quilt for almost 10 years now.
Really? I think it's just, I think like Northern BC, Yukon, Northwest Territories, like it's too cold. I don't know. I
You
have one.
can,
I've tried
dude,
it.
smash it. I want you to destroy them. Destroy it. I go for it. I don't care. It's not going to offend me. I'm not going to stop doing it. Defend, blow them up, dude. Let's go. Tell me why.
What I don't understand is like, how do you, I guess I should revisit one at some point. I have one. I don't understand how, like, if you're rolling around in your bag, how you keep the seal from your quilt to your pad from like letting cold air in.
Yeah, I use the like my favorite quilt is the Light Equipment 10 degree, and I don't even know hundreds of days in that quilt, and I love
And
it.
it doesn't
But
come off. You just do the
no,
little
not
straps.
really. I mean, a little bit maybe, but not really. I never tie mine to it. It's so big. I have like the
Yeah.
extra long, like the long, large one. I think it weighs like, dude, it's a 10 degree and it weighs 18 ounces. So it weighs nothing, right? And I just roll so much in my sleep that I end up getting
Mm.
like twisted up like a freaking alligator. You know what I mean? In a sleeping bag. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Um, so like I just like the quilt. Like I'm surprised that you're not a quilt guy. But I also I'm not stuck to only using hunting brands either. So like I try everything. So like I love like Western mountaineering. Like my puffy pants are from
Yeah.
Feathered Friends.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff like you're talking about. Like that's I like that you talked about Sportivas, right? Like it's not necessarily synonymous with hunting.
Yeah.
It's a mountaineering brand, right? So some of those brands I really did like that. Lighting Equipment quilt, man, I love it. I've got like 4 or 5 different quilts probably.
I'm gonna check it out. I've used one when they first started getting popular, probably like 10 years ago. And I just found it like I couldn't get it to seal properly. And then I'd wake up because there'd be like cold air coming in. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely like a big time weight savings opportunity.
huge weight savings, and for me, I just like being able to have it. I'm not being able to roll around in there, right? But I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I've wanted to try like Peak. What is it? Peaks has their new like sleeping bag with the armholes and stuff in it. Like I kind of want to try it. I think Sick has a similar one. So if you're not, what bag are you running then? What brand bags are you running?
Probably like in my duffel bag of bags, I have probably starting from like warmest to coldest. I have a Valandre Mirage, which is like a French company, I believe. Um, Started off at 20 degrees. It's probably like 35 degrees now. That's my lightest one.
Yeah.
And then I'll have one called Mountain Equipment, which is like a UK company.
Yep.
That's my coldest one. I think it's called the XERO, zero with an X, I guess. That one's really warm. And then I have a couple Sika ones, the down one and the synthetic one, which are sort of great mid-season options if you want something a little bit more functional with like the armholes and things like that. So
Yeah, the Sika one
yeah,
has the armholes and like the front zip, right? Very similar to the Peaks. Do you feel like the armholes are a gimmick? Like I'm friends with Peaks. Like I'm friends with these guys. Like do you use the armholes? Are you like out there with your armholes? Like is it
I don't ever use it outside my tent. Like I'm not like out there like an Oompa Loompa running around or whatever with a thing. But I'll use it to cook. Like so, if I'm
okay?
laying in a tent, it's when those days are really short. So it's
Mhm.
like up here, we'll hunt like in November, for example, like where I grew up in Alberta and the Rockies. It's dark at 4:30, 4:45. It's not really light till 8:30 or 9, and it's cold, like cold. So you're basically like you have all your clothes on, you're in your sleeping bag, and sometimes you're in a backpack tent. You're either by yourself or with a buddy, and you're basically either like if you don't have armholes, you're kind of cracked halfway, and you're cooking and stuff, but you're always like you're always making coffee or doing something, and from 5 p.m. till you go to sleep or whatever, 9 or 10 p.m. like you kind of like to have a little bit of that functionality. But for like summer stuff or longer days, um, generally, no, I don't really need to use the armholes.
Yeah, I guess as a quilt guy, I don't have to worry about that because my arms just pop out, leg pops out, whatever. So, so as a quilt guy, I'm like, I just don't see them. I'm like, what do I need that for? I don't know. I don't know. That's cool. Uh, So cool. We're touching on gear. I like gear, dude. It's fun to talk about gear with, especially someone like you who just who's so knowledgeable, right? I mean, like it's undeniable. Like you are like the epitome of like mountain hunting right now. Like one of the guys up there that's just like your name goes hand in hand with it, right? Like, and you're living it, right? And you're doing this stuff. Um, you talk about backpacks a lot, right? You've brought up a couple times. What backpack are you loving?
I don't know. Maybe similar to boots sometimes is like I just everything that I use a lot of Mystery Ranch packs and have for quite some time. There's things I would change about them, I would say, but generally for big time heavy load hauling capabilities and durability, um, their stuff for me at least is pretty good. I was having this conversation with a buddy the other day, and he's like, "Well, what about this pack? What about this pack? What about EXO? What about?" And I'm like, "I've never used them because like I feel like a backpack, at least for me, is one of those things where I don't like. I'm always sort of tweaking and trying different stuff, but like a
Mm-hmm.
backpack isn't really a thing where I'm like, oh, let me just go try out a pack on like a 14-day like
100%.
sheep hunt in the Northwest Territories, and then sort of like it, don't like it, find something wrong with it. And I suppose I could test it out and doing some shorter stuff and trying it out, but like I'm kind of like a little bit more like what I have isn't necessarily broken, so I don't necessarily need to fix it. But we started using Mystery Ranch like their packs were, I mean, hunters were adopting them in like, I think we were started using them in 08, 09.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were basically military packs. They had like a nice 6500, it was called. They basically figured out a way to separate the bag away from the frame into what they call the overload to put like military stuff in. So like a 65-pound chunk of cast iron, a mortar base plate, like sniper rifles, ammo boxes, whatever, like big heavy things, which is like basically exactly what you're trying to do in your hunting. Like uh, bag of boned out meat that weighs 60 or 70 pounds. So it's like that same concept and coming from like a high durability standpoint. So we were running like Arc'teryx Bora packs or more like mountaineering style packs where the
Not very
biggest,
durable.
not very durable, and the biggest, heaviest load you're going to have out of the truck is whatever in mountaineering backpacking, maybe it's 50 or 60, whatever it is, and it's going to go down every single day. And hunting is like the only activity really that I can think of that is like you walk out of the truck at 65 pounds 10 days later, if you're fortunate enough to be successful, like now your
120
pack
pounds.
weighs 110 pounds. So you need something that has like the ability to carry that load and has a bit of durability. So we started using those packs then. And it's really cool to see. I mean, it's similar to apparel, right? Where you have a whole bunch of players in the market. Like you've seen like Kuiu and Cryptek and Stone Glacier and First, like all these apparel companies, and you've seen in backpacks again, Stone Glacier and Exo and Kuiu makes packs and Sika makes packs. You see all these like packs coming out, and I do believe like there's something out there for everybody, and it's cool. Like Kurt Roscoe started Stone Glacier, he's a buddy of mine. It's like the reason I was there shit talking with you at Stone Glacier. I was rescuing a life size doll sheep in there that was I needed to get out because all my friends that worked there were leaving the company. That's a different story. Probably can't say anything about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
But Kurt is 6. Do you know Kurt? Have you seen him around?
I've seen him around. I think I had him on the podcast.
All right. He's like 6'2", probably has like a 30-inch waist. Built like an ice climbing, long limbed, tall, lean guy. His backpack frames are tall, narrow, like longer hip belts. And everybody I know that loves the Stone Glacier is usually like, if somebody says, "Oh man, Stone Glacier, best pack ever," I'm like, even if I was like talking on the phone, I'm like, you're probably tall and probably lean, or you're probably a taller guy.
I'm thinking in my mind, like,
And they're
oh,
like,
Brady Miller. He loves tall,
right,
lean guys.
totally.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. And Mystery Ranch, for me, what I'm looking for and what I think is a differentiator for Mystery Ranch for me is like I like the waist belt. I like the like 5 cemented waist belt. I like a big fat lumbar pad. And when I have used Stone Glaciers in the past, Kurt would give me like more foam to put in the lumbar to create like, kind of like the way that your lumbar sits, where your tailbone is, like to have that ability to like, not only for comfort, but just so that waist belt doesn't migrate down. So that's what I liked about the fit of the Mystery Ranch. And yeah, basically everything builds off a frame, just like many other backpacks. But that modularity is nice. And like you have the peace of mind of knowing like, okay, same frame. I know how to fit them. I used to work their booth in like 2011 or something like that. We'd go and work the trade show booths. So fitting people, being comfortable with how to fit them. I think that's a big part similar to boots, but like with packs, I've been to like a lot of different hunting camps in the north where, you finish your hunt, you're hanging around. This happened 2 years ago up at Arctic Red in the Northwest Territories. I was filming a guy's hunt for Wild Sheep Foundation. We got done early. We were sitting in camp, telling stories, waiting to get flown out. And people were kind of coming up. It was sort of a little bit of a buzz around camp. And they were saying, "Oh man, I love my pack." And I'm like, "You would love it more if it was fit properly. Like, let me fit this for you." So I'd fit, and it doesn't matter, Stone Glacier, Kafari, whatever. I could figure out sort of, they're all sort of basically the same thing, adjusting the yoke, tightening things from the waist belt up, like some very basic things that people, they buy their pack from Shields or Cabela's or wherever. And there isn't like an intimate knowledge of like specialty retail that allows you to say, like, let me help you fit this. And there's videos online and there's a lot of education out there, but I still think most people, they buy that pack maybe on the way to their first Western hunt, or they order it online and they throw it in there and they say, "Wow, it feels great," because it feels so much better than any other pack that they've ever had, or they don't even have experience with it. And it's like, oh man, these things can be fit to you so perfectly that they have the customization and modularity that, using that ability to fit it to your body is like almost as important as like what the actual product is. Like a pack, an ill-fitting top of the line pack is worse than maybe like some other middle of the road pack that fits perfect.
Yeah, man, that Mystery Ranch, definitely durable. I would say that about them. A little more pockets than I would like. They kind of got like, they're not very simplistic. There's a lot of stuff going on there because I think there's the military side of things. Our military guys want that tactical stuff there. I know they just came out with a new frame. I think like last year or year before, right? A new frame, which is supposed to be pretty phenomenal. I ran EXO forever. Great packs. I had hip issues with them. I ran them for like 8 years. I mean, I had went through K2 and a K3 pack with them. Maybe around 8 years, something like that. 6 years, something like that. 2016 through 2023. Um, man, I switched over to that initial ascent last year, and it just fits me perfect. Big lumbar, like you
Nice.
said, and it just holds weight really well. I love that pack. I did. Everly Stock sent me two of their new frames to try out their new carbon fiber frame. I'm curious. My kids running their pack for years, so I'm curious to try one of those out. But right now, I have a hard time for my body type beating that initial set. Man, it just feels. I don't get any of the shift or hip pain, and plus, like you said, I'm very much like I ran the same two Exos forever, and this is kind of a
Mhm.
similar pack to the Exos. I like that. And I don't like to change too much my backpack, right? So like I like to know like if I kill an animal, like I don't want to say, oh, we kill a lot of stuff. We kill a lot of stuff. Like we're 7 or 8 animals deep this year already, right? Like so I want to be able to take my pack apart, put an animal on there, and like if you're using the same pack, it gets really easy to do that. If it's your first time going to the field and you bought a Kafaru, good luck. Like figuring out if you need to practice putting a bag on that thing or how
Yeah,
to
for
strap meat
sure.
down on it, dude. Because dude, like yes, you see the picture of Schneider carrying out an elk on it, but have you ever figured out how to do it? Because like it takes time. So that's one thing I can say about backpacks before you go out, similar to breaking boots in, is take your backpack, no matter what brand it is, get a 40-pound bag of dog food or something, and figure out how to take your pack off the frame, how to strap that dog food down, how to get it up, how to load it.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you think about the first time doing it in the dark, it's raining sideways, there's wolves howling all
Dude.
around you. It ain't happening. No, and I think a backpack is for me is similar to like your truck. It's like I don't want to change my truck every year, or it's
Yeah.
just like I go in there, my sunglasses are in the top thing. Like I know my it's like all I know where everything is. I put my inReach in this pocket. I put food in this pocket. Like my spot, like I know where everything is, and it's just like you can change some whatever. If it's 3 day, 5 day, 7 days, you can kind of change a little bit of stuff, or you can use a different bag maybe. But I like the simplicity of like you're just sort of using the same thing year after year.
Yeah, I do some stuff with like buckles and stuff. I do some like locking buckle type stuff. I switch buckles out in packs. I do something I love is like gatekeeper straps. If you get some of those, you can actually attach gatekeepers onto other buckles. So it's really good for like tying meat down and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
So that's a little like pro tip for me is like look at your pack and there's certain you can buy strap stuff to do stuff to it. Like a lot of times it's hard to get an animal head onto a pack, especially if you don't run a top lid, right?
yeah,
Like if you have those gatekeeper straps, you actually can clip them through where your strap connects to your clip connects to your backpack and have double straps on there, right? And then make another strap. So like there's things like that I do but just again, it's like you said, it's just you know how many days you have in the field on that thing. You know what I mean? It's just you use it, you learn, figure out what you need, what you want to change. But I would definitely say before you go out in the field, figure out how to use that backpack because man, there's nothing worse than like watching a guy trying to figure out even take like there's a process to get the damn thing open to flap flat to get your meat on there, right? And if you don't even know that process, like what straps you got to take off, like man, good luck getting that bull on there and have that thing not slide. There's nothing worse, Adam, than carrying out a load that's shifting everywhere on you,
no, it's the worst.
especially in the
No, and
country
I
you
think
guys are in.
I think I'd add to that the fit component of it. And so
Mhm.
just back to that little anecdote up in the territories. There's maybe like 8 guides in camp. These guys are Dull Sheep guides. They're at a Super Cub supported backpack style outfit. Like they don't use helicopters. These guys are legit. Like probably 5 to 15 years of experience. One guy was a buddy of ours. His name's Al Claus, and he's 60. Well, he would have been 66 or 67. He's like 68 now. He's killed like 165 Dull Sheep, all backpack.
Oh, jeez.
So they have so much experience. Um, I don't think anyone could say that they're not experienced mountain hunters, sheep hunters. That they don't have a lot of, they have probably 80 or 90 days in the backpack each year. Um, and I was talking to some of them. I'm like, well, when's the last time you fit this thing? They're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like looking at the buckle, and like how kind of dirt gets in like slide buckles and stuff, and like
Yeah.
it kind of creates an imprint, and it's like you can see it's like never been used. I'm like, well, how's this pack feel? They're like, it feels great. And then it's like, you adjust it and have it fit. And they're like, whoa, I had no idea. I had no idea that this pack even adjusted, because they probably bought it 10 years ago and they're like, it's as comfortable as I've needed to. And a lot of those guys too are cut from a little bit different fabric. Like it didn't, I think this says like a good maybe point in this conversation now is like our gear is so good. Um, we as a society are like so soft in that like we have like the comforts of lightweight, breathable rain gear and awesome tents, and all this stuff, right? And so I think, if you think about it, we're tweaking like percentages out, right? Like we're getting like 1%, 5%, maybe 5% lighter, tweaking things, a little bit higher performance. And I like doing it. I think it's fun. But at the end of the day, like people were out here running around, mountaineering, climbing Mount Everest, 100 years ago with wool, and people were sheep hunting up in the territories in jeans and flannel shirts and stuff like that. So, it's like a good reminder that don't get like do the gear thing because it's fun. Do the gear thing because you like it. There is, I think every like 5 years there is like a bit of a leap in something really specific. You're like, oh wow, that kind of was like changing the game. But don't get lost in it. And there's no substitute for experience. There's no substitute for actually having your boots on the ground because, if you're lost, I'm surprised at how many people too, like from a time investment standpoint, and I'm sometimes guilty of this too, but like analyzing gear or spending tons of time, maybe like in the gym or like shooting or things that are important for sure. But then when it comes to like having a pair of broken in boots or having a properly fit pack, they're like, oh no, I didn't worry about that. And it's like, those are like, it's low hanging fruit to kind of avoid some of the most and again, this is just from mistakes that I've made. Like this is stuff that I've done that I'm like, oh man, can't do that again.
We talked about ultralight a little bit and tweaking gear. I could say that I'm not necessarily an ultra. I like lightweight gear, but I'm not an ultralight guy. Right? There's like certain things that like I almost want to say I'm a comfort over ultralight guy sometimes. When I know I'm going to be spending 100 days in a tent this year, I kind of know what I like, and I make sacrifices in some places and sacrifices in other places with weight. Maybe I'll carry something lighter here that I don't really, because I'm not worried about it, but I carry a heavier, like my pad. I talk about my pad all the time. I do use some like Thermarest, like the Neo Airs and stuff, the yellow ones. But dude, like I have a 24-inch wide, like 4-inch thick Neo Rest pad that weighs like 18 ounces that I sleep so good on, and I love it. And like I've been running that pad for like 2 seasons now. I used to run Xtherm all the time and a Neo Airs. I'm like, man, once I got this pad, so yes, it might be 6 ounces heavier, but man, is it worth it? Do you have anything where you're like, yeah, the weight's
Yeah, no,
not as
I think it's a
important?
good point too. I think what gets lost in the sort of sleeping system conversation is like the pad actually also is more comfortable, but also keeps you warmer. So
Yeah.
like creating that loft off the ground, maybe you can go with a lighter sleeping bag or a lighter quilt. If that's your thing. Um, so it's like, these things kind of like stack together, and if you think about using them as a system, a pad that's heavier, I'm a pretty cushy pad type guy too because it's more comfortable, it's also warmer. I don't know, I mean, I'm kind of like, it depends on the trip, I would say, but I'm sort of like medium to lighter weight because like I'm bringing like 10 pounds of camera gear quite often if
The
I'm like
camera gear
photographing at.
sucks, dude. I
Yeah,
switched to an 8,000 pack this year because my 4500 is not big enough. Because those long
yeah,
lenses and dual cameras,
yeah.
dude, cameras suck. They're so
Yeah,
heavy.
so it's like quite interesting, like how the level. I guess if I'm like shooting a hunt, um, I'm kind of like, how light can I get this thing? Because
Mhm.
man, I know I'm throwing in 10, 12, 14 pounds of camera gear on top of it. So if like I'm supposed to start at 65, I could get it to 55, throw back 15 pounds. I'm back at 70, and um, but yeah, I would say like the tent is an assurance thing. I would say for me, food is I'm like not really willing to like go ultralight on food for a couple of reasons. Like one, I don't know. I come from an Italian family. Like I eat a lot.
Mhm.
I like to eat a lot. I like to have pepperoni and cheese and bagels and like dried fruit, like some amount of real food. And I think
Dude,
as you
me and you would get along really good because I'm like that guy who my friends are like stealing my snacks like day 4 because they decided to bring some freaking trail mix and that's it.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you didn't want to throw in like some salami and some baby bell cheese? Because I'll tell you what, dude, day 5 of a hunt, some fresh salami and some baby bells put together, or some Tillamook cheeses, dude. Oh, forget about it. That's so good, so
Oh,
good.
totally. And I think as you go like back to back and year over year, you're kind of going like, man, I don't want to just eat freeze dried and oatmeal here for the next 50, 60 days. But also like food is fuel. So like you just never want to be in the situation where you're kind of running out of gas
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, you feel better, you perform better. And then also like, I think of food as it's, uh, it's basically like sand in the hourglass. So like if you have 10 days of food and, away you go hunting, like that's your 10 days of your
Mm-hmm.
hourglass and like it's tipped over. So when you out of food, yeah, you can maybe push it another half day, but you're done. So if you have like 10 days of food heavy,
You
like
can go
10 heavy
overboard a
days of
little bit
food,
every day.
oh yeah, you can easily be on day 7 or 8 or 9 and be like, okay, now we're going to split half dinners. Or if I go on a 10-day hunt, I might bring like 5 ramens or something like that. If I'm on day 7, I have 2 ramens left. We're on a bunch of sheep. The weather's coming in. We want to stay out there hunting. It's like eat a ramen for dinner, like dial back on some of your snacks. By day
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6, your stomach's already shrunk anyways. You're going to be fine and you can stretch it and you can keep hunting 10, 11, 12 days as opposed to like if you bring 10 days of food, like to the ounce, that's all you have. You're in full starvation mode from the jump. You're going to be done. So yeah, I just never want to be in that situation. And then I guess the third reason, it's the only piece of gear that gets lighter as the hunt goes on. So
Yeah,
you bring if you're bringing 2 pounds of food a day, you got 20 pounds, or you get 2.5 pounds of food a day, you got 25 pounds. Like either way, halfway through that hunt, you're already chewed down half of that food. So I would say just throw it in, bring it.
dude. Is there anything better than some good ramen under a tarp in like a storm? Oh, dude, it's so good. Middle of the day,
No,
cracking some ramen, so good. We went to Alaska, dude. We're flying in. I brought snacks. Like I had some good candy. I mean, like I knew we're gonna be rained in. I had some Snickers bars. Dude, these guys went and like bought like some jerky and like I don't know if they thought they're gonna go on a diet for a week. Dude, I was calling them snack horse. They were like in my bags, little squirrels like stealing all my snacks. I'm like, you guys, we're flying in. You could bring as much. You could have bought eggs and bacon. You know what I mean? But I felt bad. I was like, I brought enough ramen. I was sharing ramen with them a few days because like it's like I feel bad being under the tarp and we're freezing. It's cold. It's windy. I'm eating my ramen. They're over there looking at me. The ramen's it's awesome and it's cold out, especially when you got the fog or you're stuck under your tarp. It's just nice, something to warm you up. It's kind of like making a like when you make a fire in the middle of the day, just something about it just kind of makes it gets something to do and it feels good.
absolutely. Do you like peanut butter?
I do like peanut butter. I'll bring the little like the almond butter packages. I'll do those.
Put it in your ramen next time.
Peanut butter in my ramen? Really? Like kind of
Yeah.
like making like a little pad thai type deal or what?
Poor man's pad thai.
Poor man's pad thai. I might have to try that out. I've done like the ramen with like the mashed potatoes. You ever done that? It's like some backpacking thing. It's pretty good. They get some instant mashed
Oh,
potatoes.
instant potatoes. Yeah.
Instant potatoes, put them together with the ramen. You make some. I can't remember what they call it. There's something you put like jerky in there and stuff. I don't know, but I've done that kind of stuff. What's really good, dude? We've done a couple times now. Is I'll bring like little salami logs, and if you cut those things into like little little discs, and then fry some of those up, and then put the little baby bell on top of the melt, dude, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
on day 7, it feels like you're at a gourmet restaurant. Dude, try that
Yeah.
sometime when you get because like the fat starts coming off on a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's good. You start getting hungry, man. Like day 7 or 8, you get tired of eating the same thing. I know like Brady Miller was doing this whole like no water food thing, and I'm like, screw that. Like just bars. Like if you're just gonna eat bars like especially a lot of guys who don't spend a lot of time in the field, like food is so important to me because like dude, it's like the one thing you have like throughout the whole hunt. You know what I mean? Like you're laying there for 10 hours a day sometimes, nothing to do other than lay there, and like all you have is like some crappy trail mix or something. Like, dude, like bring some snacks, man. I like snacks. I like snacks on
Bring
the
some
mountain.
snacks. You heard it here first. I agree, and I think that you just never want to be in a position where you're feeling like you're bonking, you're kind of out of gas, and you got to
Mhm.
climb something or you got to keep going, and you just know it's like completely avoidable. to
Yeah. And
bring the
plus, I
right
love
amount of
having some
food.
gummy bears, dude. Throwing some gummy bears in there, some Sour Patch Kids. Just, it's great. I got up a hill, throwing those things in. This has been an awesome
Absolutely.
podcast, Adam. We always end with a hunting story, and I think you might have one or two for us. Want to give us a hunting story? See the campfire hunting story, real quick. Adam Foss
Oh
story.
wow. Geez, you're putting me on the spot. Give me a theme, like or something to narrow my
It was dark and
ramblings.
stormy, and you're on the top of a mountain, and there's a thunderstorm. You're waiting on this
Uh,
giant doll
I'll,
sheep.
I'll,
Let's go.
I'll tell you a funny story from this
Let's
summer.
do
I
it.
was with Sam,
Perfect.
my buddy Sam, because it wasn't dark, but it was very stormy. Um, so we were sitting there. We saw some rams. It's like opening day, northern BC. We're kind of watching them, like they're moving back and forth. This like really cliffy section that you can't really see from the bottom. You can't really see from the side. You can only look from the top. And it's doing like the big thunderhead thing. It's pretty hot, but we're getting big like rainy hailstorms in the afternoons, and middle of the day. So we're sitting there on the tarp, just like we're pinned down. We saw these rams go in. There's basically nowhere for them to go, but we can't. Like we're looking down little tiny chutes, and it's like we're looking between our toes. And his hair, like we started hearing the guy lines of the tarp like humming,
No way.
like humming, and then his
The
hair
static
started.
electricity in like the clouds.
Yes, I'll send you a video.
No way.
His hair started standing up. uh, which was like which was pretty freaky. So it was actually like it was a stormy, um, lightning-y day, but we were waiting for these rams to come, and he was sitting there because it was so steep, and he's looking. And he had his pan head of my tripod with the brand new Leica 82 Televid APO sitting on it, waiting for these rams to pop out, and he saw just like one little body move in between the cliffs, and he goes and pulls his binos up, and of course his binos hit the pan head of the fluid head and pan handle of the fluid head, uh, and his look, it looked like he had just uh, like he just ran over your dog, I would say.
Pretty equivalent, probably more than a dog.
He was like, he comes back, and I was checking out this other spot, and he's like, he just shook his head, and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Spotter's gone." I'm like, "It's gone? How could it be gone?" And he tells me the story, and we couldn't get to it. Like it was 500 feet straight down, and it was like this big nasty thing, and we were just. He had like maybe an 8 or 10 week old daughter, a couple months old, and I've got like a son who's 2 now, who's under 2, and we were just like, man, it would be such a bad story to die trying to recover like a spotting scope and a tripod, even though it was like a really nice spotting scope and a really nice
And a
tripod.
phenomenal tripod. I mean, tripod probably made me cry more than the spying scope.
Yeah, it's probably still there. We could like send somebody a pin, or it'll end up in a flushing down to a river. Send some climbers in there to rappel down and recover
So
it.
I got it. Yeah, I got a text from Cody Rich and Sam. It was like, "Hey man, Sam threw Adam Foss's Tricer BC off a cliff. Can you help me out?"
Yeah,
So I ended up getting you another tripod set up, and I ended up getting Sam a tripod set up out of that too. So Sam did good. So he threw yours off. He threw your tripod off a cliff, and ended up getting a tripod out of the deal. So
yeah.
good for
Well,
Sam.
thanks for doing that. We call my
Yeah.
brother on the way home, who's like a sheep hunter guy, as much as the next guy, and Sam goes, "Yeah, lost the spotting scope," and Cam goes, he's like pretty dry, sarcastic, funny guy. People that know him, he goes, "Oh, you guys are going lightweight."
Yeah.
Just like threw the spotting scope off, hiked out.
Ultralight, dude.
So
What?
yeah,
Yeah, what a fun podcast, Adam. Adam, if people want to check out some of your art, I mean, I guess I'll call it art, your photography and stuff you do. Where will we find you at?
yeah. Thanks. If you want to call it art, that's great. I appreciate that.
I do.
That's
I think
kind of
it's art.
what.
I think what you do is incredible. You're one of the best photographers, especially like when it comes to mountain hunting. Adam Foss is synonymous with this incredible photography. You're the guy. You're the dude. I mean, you're the dude that Yeti goes to. You're the dude that Sitka goes to. I mean, you're the dude, man. So where can we find you?
Well, thank you. Um, Yeah, I'm probably like most active on Instagram, which is just my last name, Foss. So it's Fossman8. And then, a lot of the different brands that we work with, you might see some of our work percolating out through what they're doing. Our production company is called Foss Media. So maybe you'll see some films or commercial projects that we're working on through those channels. But I don't know. This time of year, I'm trying to trying to stay off the internet. I just try to go out, be out there, enjoy it, come back. I got like 16,000 photos to edit or something like that from this last trip, and then go back out again
Oh, geez.
and yeah, try and stay away from that stuff a little bit. But no, it's cool and it's sweet. I mean, it's the hunting industry is fantastic. The conservation arm of what hunting is a beautiful thing, and so the internet and things like social media do help connect all of us and see what everyone's up to and everyone's working on. So yeah, that's where I might be, and I appreciate you having me on. It's fun.
Awesome.
We
Awesome,
just
dude. I'm sure I'll see. Will you be at Sheep Show?
I haven't missed it. Yeah, I'll be there. Haven't
So
missed it in a
I'll
long
see
time.
you at Sheep
Are
Show.
you
I'm
gonna
gonna
have a booth and stuff?
Oh, a booth. Yeah, we have shot and sheep the same week, so I'm gonna spend like half
Mm,
my week. I go to Mexico, come back on Sunday from Mexico deer hunting, fly straight to shot, and then from shot I'm gonna jump up to sheep in Reno and do sheep. So do both of them.
cool. Yeah, I'll see you
Sheep
there.
is kind of my people, right? Like I like shot, but sheep's kind of like I like sheep, man. 'Cause you never know if the guy you're talking to has $100 million in the bank or $10 in the bank. It's just a bunch of dudes who love hunting. Sheep show is just
Yeah,
it's probably my favorite show of the year. It's a good show to be at for sure if you're gonna go to one.
it's I haven't missed it in a long time and don't plan on missing it. It's a really good one.
Awesome. All right, Adam Foss, you're the man, dude. Thanks for coming on.
I'm just a guy. Thanks for having me.